So yeah, we should be streaming, and this should be on YouTube soon. So
I'll keep refreshing.
here we go. I think we're live. Stream's just like, yep, we're live.
Awesome.
Just wait for some people to jump in. Let's get this thing tweeted out. I know a few times when we've done this, Dan, I've said, we need to delete the start, but something funny always happens and people enjoy that. So if there is anyone else here at the start, let us know.
It's a reality check, isn't it? Because we're always here like, are we live? Are we live? And then there's like two people in the comment like, yeah, you've been live for about 5 minutes, lads.
We're just looking at you, just having a conversation, just doing nothing.
Well, I think, at least it brings to people's attention that, there's no mastermind behind this YouTube channel. It really is bare bones, mate. It's just me and you flying by the seat of our pants, building this plane as we're flying.
That's exactly it. We got someone in the chat, PSDN7. Hi, mate. How you doing?
Yes, all right, mate.
Right, let's get this tweeted out, mate.
Evening, AJ.
You can always rely on AJ to be in a stream, can't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Actually, do you know what? I don't think AJ was in the chat last time. How you doing, mate? How you doing?
I'm always missed this. I'm glad you're here. We're glad you're here too.
Yeah, we're glad.
PSDN7.
To be fair, we do these. We just do them off the cuff, don't we? It's bad on our behalf because we only really let you guys know an hour or so before we're doing them. That's something we've definitely got to work on in the future. I think probably in the summer. I think the summer, Dan, it'll be quite good for maybe with Transfer Rumour Mills when they're back. It would be good to go live and do them impromptu.
Yep.
I think that would be good. David, hello.
We're good, mate.
We're good. How are you? We're good. We're here to preview Arsenal for you guys, as the title will say. But Dan, now how you doing, mate? Let's let the people know what we're doing.
Yes, mate. Not bad at all. It's a little bit earlier than normal, isn't it? Like when we're recording midweek, it's usually towards sort of 9-10 o'clock. So yeah, probably better for you guys that we're here at 7:30. Just had your dinner, hopefully, people. Settle down. It's not that won't be the longest live stream in the world, but yeah, hop on here, talk about the game. It's going to be my first game. It feels like in ages. Really excited. Early kickoff as well. You don't see many early kickoffs. When was the last one? Down Villa Park, Saturday at 12:30.
We're going back a while. We are going back a while there. I don't think we've had one this season.
Let us know in the comments. Yeah. If anyone can remember, let me know, because it feels like a long time since we've been down there. But yeah, really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. Good to get back home, travel back to Birmingham, see the family. Should be a good laugh.
Shout out to the Wisemans, mate. That's it. It's nice. It's a different vibe in it. I think that the problem is with the early kickoffs, it does totally screw your weekend if you lose. That's the thing. Your weekend is in the shitter already if Villa lose this game, which is really annoying. So I was looking in the chat, and there's pronounced Poseidon. That makes sense. It's just without the vowels. Hi, Poseidon. Yeah, fantastic. Nice to know you're doing good, David. Didn't see the game with Arsenal, but off the back of 2-0 defeat from Liverpool, surely there is some confidence going into this. I hope so, David. Now we're gonna get into that because it was quite an entertaining game. And I think there will be some encouraging signs that Villa can take from this, which is important, which is, of course, why we are here. But as well, I guess we can also look at it. There are some positives for Villa to take. It's going to be a very tough game. But from Captain K, shout out. I've not seen Captain in the comments for a while. It's good to see the Captain back in the chat. Last 4 12:30 kickoffs, Villa have been victorious. That's it. That is a fantastic stat. You're absolutely right,
Ryan.
Love
to see it.
Welcome to the chat, Ryan. Killing it on the Villa podcast, mate. Keep it going. It's good to see what you guys are doing. But we got 11 viewers right now, which is a bit mental. Arsenal, Dan, 2-0 the other night. Let's get into this Liverpool game first, because it was one of them ones, weren't it, where Salah obviously didn't start. Liverpool's forward depth is a bit crazy right now. And for Liverpool to only win this game 2-0 on paper, is a little bit surprising. Arsenal were coming into this 6 games unbeaten, 5 wins on the trot, and it. I don't know. It's always one of them ones, isn't it? Really, you kind of always lean towards Liverpool in this fixture, but I want to say it was a really disciplined Arsenal performance, Dan. 48% possession. They were effective for the most part when out of possession in terms of dealing with the threats that Liverpool presented them. And unfortunately for Arsenal, I think the only issues in this game were really derived from the fact that they only really had 1 or 2 clear-cut chances that they created, and they didn't manage to score.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, mate. I've been quite impressed with what I've seen from Arsenal. They have a lot of players which you have to admire. I mean, if you like football, you got to love what you're seeing from the likes of Martin Odegaard right now, who's just like playing football like he was born to do it. He's such a beautiful player to watch. And I think he's really been at the heart of everything that's good about Arsenal. Before that Liverpool game, 9 wins from their last 11 in the Prem, 25 scored, 7 conceded, 28 points from a possible 33. It's all looking very rosy. And I think that probably the biggest credit you can pay Arsenal is that they felt like the only team, or they still feel like, to be honest with you, the only team chasing that Champions League spot that are on an upwards trajectory.
Yeah.
Man United and Spurs both feel like they're sliding. Like they can't quite get it right. That there's a lot of issues going on. Arsenal really feel like the only club that are heading in the right direction generally. I think you've got to give. It's not often I'll give the Arsenal execs and stuff like that board credit, but I think they deserve it really for sticking by Arteta. For giving him the benefit of some pretty considerable doubts that they've had at points. It's the Arteta out campaigns and stuff like that have been lighting up on socials on more than one occasion, but they've stuck by him. And they're reaping the rewards. It finally feels like he's started to get this figured out. I don't think it's a complete Arsenal side, but I think the fact he's managed to get Lacazette working and these players that felt like really they had no future at Arsenal, especially after losing the likes of Aubameyang, to hit this kind of form is it's actually really impressive, mate.
No, it really is, and I think the thing with Arsenal that it's important to kind of caveat everything that positive that we say about this Arsenal side. They've spent a lot of money, Dan. They really have, and whilst the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe have come through and have cost them nothing, it's a £150 million back line, and I think people seem to forget they paid nearly £40 million for Alexander Lacazette, and it's never really worked out for him, has it? He's not having a terrible time right now, and I think since Aubameyang's left, I think Lacazette has kind of taken that role as the sort of main striker within his stride, and has certainly adopted a role I don't think many would have expected him to have done. He's almost playing, the sort of the supporting cast really of the Saka and Smith Rowe and Odegaard show, and Martinelli as well, who's been in there for the past few games, has been absolutely fantastic. It pains me to say it because it is Arsenal, but what they have going on right now, it really works because Odegaard, much like Coutinho, is more of a traditional number 10, and I think to get the best out of a traditional 10, you need a proper number 9, and that is what Alexander Lacazette is, Dan, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the focal point for this Arsenal team right now. He's getting his teammates involved, which again is really important. I'm just trying to pull up the assist stats because I'm fairly sure he's done madness this season.
I have them here.
Oh, there we go.
I have them here. He has 3 goals, 7 assists in his last 12 games. I'm prepared to say I think Alex Lacazette has the easiest job in world football, and that's just receive the ball and pass it about 5 yards backwards, and then one of Martinelli, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka is always running onto it, running past him to take the assist. But more power to you, Alex. It's working quite well for him, isn't it, mate?
It is, and there is a contract situation there. It doesn't look like he'll renew, but what he's offering to the side is really important, and how he makes his teammates better. I think it's something that we've spoke about with Villa a lot until it kind of clicked with Watkins and Ings about, I think, ultimately be a good teammate, and we're seeing that. And Lacazette is that, and we're getting some comments, mate, from the captain himself. Martinelli Saka versus Young is not something I'm looking forward to seeing. Might have to fight fire with fire this one. Yeah, I think this is going to be a game where I think both sides are not going to be afraid to be dealing the big blows. I think it's going to be very counter-attacking orientated, this game, because unfortunately I don't see Villa keeping a clean sheet in this one. I think we really struggled at West Ham when in our podcast time we didn't even speak about Dougie, which the comments have just reminded me about the injury. But we struggled when Dougie came off. We struggled when Dean came off. And as much as we adore Ashley, and this is the Ashley Villa podcast, we love Ashley Young. He's fantastic. Having somebody who is practically half his age running at him for a full 90 minutes is always going to be a bit difficult, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, it's really going to be a big test for him. I actually saw Luca still got the call up to the French national team. So, it was sort of expected for about 3 weeks with that injury. So, I mean, congratulations. First off, Luca, it's not an easy team to get call-ups for. I was actually only looking today to go off piece a little bit to look at some of the players that still never received call-ups for that squad. It's just crazy. And so, yeah, I mean, it's testament to what a fantastic player we have in Digne. That he's a pretty consistent figure in that team, actually. So yeah, shout out to you, Luca. But yeah, it looks like we will have Ashley Young for this game. It is going to be a big test for him. I think, to answer you sort of directly, Captain, I think it's one of those where legs wise, yes, obviously he's going to lose that battle, but he does have a lot of experience. He has enough. He's been around this block a few times. He's seen this movie before. He's been up against guys younger than him for the best part of 5 years now. This has been a pretty consistent feature for him. Obviously went out to Italy. He's been doing it there, did it in the latter stage of Man United. This is not something that's new to him. So, as I said, I think he's coming up in one of the premier talents in the Premier League. Love Saka and the way that he plays. It will certainly be a big test for him. I think we will miss Dean. I do think we missed him against West Ham. I thought that was quite a sort of thing that got glossed over a little bit. Just exactly what Dean gives us down that left-hand side, I thought we lacked a little bit. But on the same side, you've got the other side, and I think we're capable of causing problems of our own, really. I do still think for all of their sort of offensive abilities, I still think there's room to get at that Arsenal back line. It's improving, yes, but I still think there's a chance that Villa can cause them problems of our own. So I think both sides will be going into this game pretty confident of their ability to get some goals.
Absolutely, mate. And before we carry on, I forgot to roll the ad. So, guys, today's video is sponsored by OneFootball. Dan, have you ever wanted an app that collates all the scores and news from your favourite teams in the whole of Europe, Dan? Have you ever wanted that?
It's a constant need of mine, mate, because there's always news. That's the thing, is that we love this game. We love the industry of football because it's ever-changing, mate, and you need a place to keep up with it all.
And we have that place exactly for you guys. It's OneFootball. Guys, this app is genuinely, it's life-changing.
It's great because I actually I use it. So it's great because it's where I pull the stats from for the podcast. So it's like there's all that new stuff as well, but you can track all of the players' stats from like across Europe for all the different leagues, for continental football as well. It's a dream. It's a dream. And the best part, mate, is it's free.
It's free, and guys, it would help support the channel massively if you check that OneFootball using the link in the description down below. We promise you guys won't be disappointed. And we're back. OneFootball, guys. Make sure you check it out. They have been kind enough to support us and sponsor us now and continue their partnership with us. It's helping bring streams like this to life for you guys, which, is fantastic because the more content that we can make for you guys and the more about Villa we can just discuss in general, I think the better, especially when things are doing all right. And I know we lost at the weekend, Dan, but things aren't terrible right now, are they? We're in an all right place.
Yes, we are, mate. We are. It didn't really. I'm quite proud of the Villa fan base. Didn't really see a large scale meltdown after the West Ham game. Usually there is after a Villa defeat. So well done to you all, boys, myself included. Didn't get too over emotional about that because it has been a pretty good time recently to be a Villa fan. There's no shame in losing to West Ham. Absolutely none whatsoever. Some very good sides have done it this season, last season, and will continue to do it. They're a very good team indeed. So yeah, no shame in going to the London Stadium and losing there. What matters is how we pick it up now. We've got 2 games against Arsenal and Wolves coming up, and I think you can probably include Spurs in that bracket as well because they change from one game to the next in terms of what you can expect. So we're approaching a run of 3 games here where it feels very important. We are, unfortunately, this season just seems to have flown by, mate. Coming towards the end now.
Yeah.
Only 8 games left after this one. Although I think the Burnley game is that still to be rescheduled. We still haven't had a date.
Yeah,
for that, have we, the home
I don't
game?
think we have. I know the Liverpool game's
So
got moved as well, and it will get moved when they win their FA Cup game as well because they're going to beat Shrewsbury.
Yes. So yeah, it's very very interesting. In terms of these 3 games could really determine. I still think that top 10 finish is not only on, but is quite plausible at this point. Especially, if we do get points from this Arsenal game, then I still think there's chances when you consider we've still got to play Arsenal, still got to play Burnley twice, still got to play the likes of Palace. Leicester as well, who are a team that aren't the side that they were last season. There's still some very winnable games for Villa left this season, mate.
Ultimately, I think our destiny is firmly within our own hands, mate. As you say, so many teams that we are coming up against in recent games as we're going to close out this season. I think it's really important that we do sort of set a precedent with how we conduct ourselves, and I think. If you look at Arsenal's run, yeah, okay, they've won 5 in a row before Liverpool. They've conceded 4 across those games as well. Their last loss came against Liverpool as well. There is always going to be goals against Arsenal. Aaron Ramsdale is somebody who, I'm sorry, unapologetically, I do not rate. The guy is completely and utterly overrated, and Emi Martinez is clearly leagues ahead. But of course, we all know that. But especially with the England squad being announced today as well, mate, to see like Ramsdale be included, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Sam Johnston's not having a great time, but I'd rather have him in over bloody Ramsdale. I just think he's so overrated. And do you know what? Jota's goal was really good. You have to give props to Liverpool for that. But a decent goalkeeper saves that, and we have more than a decent goalkeeper in Emi Martinez. And that's the difference. Guys, let us know in the chat. Did you guys watch that? Did you guys watch the Amazon Prime thing with Ben Foster and Emmy? Did you watch that, Dan?
I did.
It's fantastic, isn't it? I love him so much. I like Ben Foster as well. I got a bit of a soft spot for the cycling GK, but I thought it was fantastic and everything you need to know about Villa's mentality, their attitude, how seriously we're going to take this. How seriously this project is and where the owners and Gerrard and the players see Villa going. It's all there. It's all there. And you can see Emmy has an elite mentality and as well, Tyrone. I was at the charity charity event the other night. I thought we mentioned it. Thank you, mate. I'm not going to lie. Lady who took my photo done me absolutely dirty with the angle. Didn't do me any favours whatsoever. But I mention it because, for 2 reasons. We got some content, first of all. And second of all, just because Tyrone is just an absolutely fantastic bloke. And everything he spoke about. And again, the direction that everybody sees the club going in is so positive. And, right after a loss, it put everything right back into perspective, mate. Because West Ham sucked. Like we can't beat around the bush. It was an awful game. I know we said on the podcast it was one of them games. They happen. It still doesn't stop you from feeling bad about it. I understand. But Tyrone, he completely put it all into perspective, and I just love the guy. But as well, when we got the opportunity to speak with Tyrone, I had to ask him the question that is on everybody's lips right now, Dan? What is everybody talking about at the moment? What is the talk of the internet right now, Dan? The biggest debate.
Didn't ask him wheels or doors, did you?
I asked him wheels or doors. I asked
No
Tyrone,
way.
is he team wheels or doors? Now, I was strategic with how I did this, right? Because there were the way that Villa organised the sort of photos and the meeting afterwards. It was a disaster. It was awful. And when me and Dad eventually got our chance to go over, they were like, quick photo. Keep your conversations really short. And I'm thinking, I'm not being funny. Like, I've already waited this long, and Tyrone seems like a nice enough guy. If we can get a conversation going with him, we can. And he's very personable, very genuine. He was asking how we were, what we were doing, all that kind of stuff. If we're having a good time, it's great to have just a nice conversation on a human level with him, because he mentioned he hates talking about football when he's not at work, which is understandable. I feel you, Tyrone, as well. I feel you, honestly. And so I thought, you know what, we need to. I want him to, first of all, maybe remember this face. I don't know. Maybe that's just the ego creeping in, right? I wanted to leave my mark on Tyrone. So we posed for the photos afterwards. He's thanking us again. It's all great. Handshakes, fist bumps. Tyrone, what a guy. And just as I'm about to slip off, I go, okay, Tyrone, come on, let us know, wheels or doors. And he was genuinely stumped. And the security guys are trying to usher us away, but Tyrone's trying to have a genuine conversation and debate with us about wheels or doors. And he gave it consideration. Guys, let us know in the comments, wheels or doors, first of all. And he gave this a lot of consideration. We were there for about a minute, right? And security definitely hate me and my dad, and we're probably not going to ever be allowed welcome back in Villa Park again. But he couldn't give us an answer.
Wow.
He was doing pros and cons.
Where do you sit?
I was team doors. I can't lie. Charlotte's put me on team
wheels central, baby.
Yeah, I think it is wheels, because you look at them factories that have all the wheels in them and that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what swayed me. But yeah, Tyrone is neither. I should have expected that. I wanted to make sure I put him on the spot. I did it, right at the very last minute. He still took a minute to think about it, and he couldn't give us a solid answer. But I thought that would be an exclusive. He didn't pick a side because he felt like he had to. That tells you a lot about who he is as a man.
Yeah, man. You know what? I think. First of all, glad to hear you, Team Wales. I should have known. You're a cultured man, mate. You're a cultured man.
Exactly.
Did you drop the pod? Well, you're like, oh, by the way, Ty, if you're free, we're going live this Thursday. Arsenal preview.
Do you know what?
Hop on. You got Zoom.
You got Zoom.
You got Zoom.
Tyrone, have you ever seen called Zoom, Tyrone? I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like FaceTime, but for podcasters. Do you know what? I genuinely considered. I thought, do I be cheeky and mention it? Or do I just look incredibly stupid and be like, oh, you heard of Heart of the Holte? Like, oh, would you call it a podcast? I thought it'd be so stupid. And do you know what?
He needs to know who we are, because we've been like, if you've probably heard of us, we're like the only corner of Villa Twitter that defends you half the time.
Yeah, that is true.
He might know. Like, oh yeah, it's you guys.
Yeah. If I'd have gone, Dan, have you ever? I think Tyrone would have then gone, oh my god, yeah.
I know. One football, right?
We got a comment the other day that was like, Dad, have you ever wanted a big bastard sitting in the middle of the midfield? And I was like, do you know what? I have actually, Dad.
Yes, all the time. All the time.
I did think that. It's what we need. But no, I did bottle it in that respect. But Dan Bardell was there and we spoke. I've not spoke to Dan before. But yeah, we spoke. So, we're in the room, mate. We're the Small Villa podcast. If he's going to know any Dan, he's going to know Dan Bardell.
Yeah.
He's not going to know. He's not going to know us, mate. Just lowly.
We've fallen down that pecking order, mate. It felt like I'd like to think we come as a joint entity.
We are, yeah.
I mean? So
that's the thing.
Yeah, we count as one Dan. I would have put us at runners up in the Dan Villa rankings, but maybe we've slipped down. Maybe we're still Champions League spots, but I don't think we're.
I think we slipped down because Danny Razza, shout out to Danny, what a guy. He won an award the other day for the BBC.
Yeah, man.
Like,
bro,
Danny's
it's
doing
the
bits.
beard.
Yeah,
it's the beard. Yeah.
It's
you,
devilishly
you
handsome.
pull that out, and it's like automatically, I'm less of a man than you. It's like,
You had a
yeah,
beard though. You just lost.
yeah.
You
Had
donned the
got,
beard.
yeah, gotta tidy it up though. I swear we're here to talk
We
Arsenal.
are. We've digressed for too long. We're rating Villa Dans. But guys, I mean, captain's team Dawes and Poseidon is team Wheels. It's nice to know we've got a bit of a split. Eric from Los Angeles. Hi Eric. What a place. What a beautiful place. Let's get back to the football. There was a
Yes,
question about
please.
Douglas Luiz. I didn't realise the extent of the injury until after the game. I say the extent of the injury. Because someone in the comments said, "Oh, he came off because he was injured." And I mean, listen, I've not been whacked in the face with a boot before and played on, so who am I to sit here and say that would affect his performance? I think Dougie just came off for tactical reasons, purely and simply. He got a busted up lip. It's been sewn up. I fully expect Dougie to be starting. It looks like Marv is stepping up his rehab, which is absolutely great, mate, because
Love to see it.
just what a guy, and that's the presence that we're missing in the midfield. But Douglas, I fully expect him to be back, and I'm just praying. Like, it is almost like commendable the fact that Gerard does want to like go and win games when we're losing. We're not going to shut up shop or do whatever. But it did worry me, mate, and I know I mentioned it in the last podcast, and I'm at danger of repeating myself again. But taking Dougie off in favour of an attacking substitution just completely and utterly destroyed the balance of the team. It did, and we need a stable midfield, mate, especially coming up against these guys, because when you have the likes of Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, even Partey, who is having a great time right now. If we're being completely honest, it looks like he's finally found his feet in North London. It's going to be so important to lock down this midfield, mate, and that is where this game is won and lost, because Villa, if we go even if we go 1-0 up, right, and we're making these positive attacking substitutions, I'm going to be seriously worried, mate, because I think we need to learn to manage games better and situations in the games. And I know, we still scored after the substitution against West Ham. That's more from sublime skill from Buendia and Ramsey rather than tactical nous, isn't it, if we're being completely honest?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's right, mate. I don't think it was really to do with his injury. Fair play to Dougie, man. I feel like people have him down as like the sort of guy that would come off, but no, the guy needed like facial reconstruction was the
Yeah.
term used. I don't know if that's just a scientific word for stitches or medical term, I should say. But that's what was bandied about. It didn't look pretty. Also, just a really quick side note: did you see that he was wearing the Villa away kit in GTA?
I did, yeah. What a guy.
So shout out to you, Dougie.
But this man wants to
That's
leave.
pretty awesome. Yeah, yeah, you know how it is.
He's going to all these legs mod in
Shocking,
GTA.
shocking. I think I'm happy at this point to pin the West Ham loss solely on the third kit.
Yeah, 4 for 4
Yeah,
now.
cursed, man, cursed. So it'd be good to be back in claret and blue. Early kickoff. In the early kickoff, you often get a surprise, don't you? Always
Yeah.
throws up a surprise. All the betting people in the comments will know or never bet on the early kickoff. And I feel like we're the underdogs, so maybe that plays into our hands here. But yeah, I think you sort of look at that Arsenal midfield, mate. Xhaka, not worried about.
No.
Not worried about. It'd be interesting to see exactly how they line up, because obviously they did only play yesterday. So it'd be interesting to see just how many changes. It's been Xhaka and Partey for a good few games now. It's sort of something they're really starting to build on. Obviously, with the winning run that they've been on, they haven't made too many changes. But you have to go back a fair while now for the last time those two boys didn't start in the midfield. So it's an interesting dilemma now for Arteta, whereby, surely fatigue is starting to become a factor.
Yeah.
They've played together for so long. As I said, they just played. You have to go back to the 23rd of January for the last time those boys didn't start a game together in midfield. And in that game, they drew 0-0 at home with Burnley. So it's fair to say, I think they've got a lot of faith in that pairing. I think there's a good chance that we'll see it, therefore, at Villa Park. But yeah, it's all about Partey, man. He's the guy that we have to stop, and we have to get a hold of that engine room. I think that we can do it. I really do. I think it'd be interesting to see as I sort of said on the podcast the other day, mate, the loss gives the Villa a chance to reset now. With a winning team, it's very easy to stick to your guns, name unchanged 11s and stuff like that. Absolutely. But yeah, now it starts to feel like, okay, we've lost. Back to the drawing board. What's the role now for Buendia? Does he come in? What happens with the back line? Is there any changes there? What happens with Callum Chambers? Is it Conser back in now? We've got a real chance to send Stevie back to the drawing board, pick up on some weaknesses in the squad, and send us out for the better, hopefully, at home.
Who do you start? I say we run through
Great
the
question,
11.
mate.
I think Emmy
Great
is
question.
a staple in goal, as is Kashi at right back.
I fancy a Robin Olsen debut, mate. I really do.
Why not? Let's do it. We're going to buy him anyway. Let's just do it. There was a rumour, actually. I didn't send you this one, Dan, because it is complete and utter nonsense. But we were linked with Neto of Barcelona the other day.
Oh, wow. I didn't see this.
Yeah. Maybe we should. Maybe this becomes a transfer rumour episode right now.
See, at least I'm glad we're proving on the pod that we don't just do all of them.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There is at least some sort of morality that comes in. It's like, right, we have to take ourselves sort of seriously.
Yeah, we can't just be going any guy who's been linked with Villa, whether it's from a WordPress blog or Fabrizio Romano, get them on the transfer rumour mill. But no, I think that the dilemma in terms of selection is, as you alluded to, mate, Chambers or Ezri. If I'm being honest, I'm playing Chambers. Ezri has done nothing wrong, but neither has Chambers. And for me, I think you've got that inside knowledge of Arsenal. He's been training with them for the whole season.
Very good point.
I think we really struggled to defend Lacazette last time round, mate. The thing is, right, with Lacazette and the role that he plays and why he can be so dangerous, it's the space he creates for the other players. It's the sort of making sure he's neither here nor there with the centre halves. He doesn't necessarily pick one to target. He'll stand firmly in between the two of them, act as a decoy, then all of a sudden recede 10 yards to win possession, try and drag one of them out and create that space. That is what is so dangerous about him. Not the fact that he's a clinical finisher in the box. It's not the fact that he's lightning quick. It's not the fact that he's particularly a frightening player, because he is none of them things. But it's the intelligent off-the-ball stuff that Villa really need to focus with. And I think Chambers has, for me, shown that he is... I don't know how to say this without it sounding really patronising towards other people in the squad. I think Callum Chambers has a football brain. He reads the game so well, and he can snuff out danger. And there have been a few instances, don't get me wrong, where I think he stepped out and I've thought, Cal, mate, let's chill out here. But he, for the most part, he reads the game so well. The tackle, the header, the pass, the interception is inch perfect every single time. And for me, mate, as much so, again, I feel I shouldn't be having to say this, how much I love Ezri, because I do. I genuinely love him. I've got him on the back of my home shirt this year. I love him. I think he's fantastic. Callum Chambers hasn't done anything to not warrant a start, and I think that's the important thing. If Callum Chambers shits the bed and gives away a penalty or gets himself sent off or does something completely reckless, then for sure let's get Ezri back in, and I would 100% back that. But I think with Chambers, we're allowed to defend in a bit of a different way to what we do with Ezri, because it feels unfair calling Ezri a stopper, because he clearly is more than that. And I think his role is significantly reduced in the side because there is a lot of pressure on Tyrone to be the ball player. But Callum Chambers is doing that now. And the responsibilities are just, for me, being shared a bit more evenly, which is something that, I'm here for. Because any team knows if Villa have a goal kick, press onto Mings. It's the play. You don't even have to have watched any of Villa's games. You just do that because that's where the ball's going every single time. It's not even because he's the weak link. That is where the ball goes. So just to have a bit of variation on that alone, mate, for me, it has to be Chambers.
Yeah, you know what, mate? I don't think that's a bad call. I think when we recorded after the West Ham game, I was sort of like, now is the chance for Stevie to re-establish that pecking order. And whatever he decides to do there, I think it's going to be a very interesting insight to see how we close out the season, really. because I think realistically, if you're going to change it and you want, okay, I want Callum Chambers or I want Ezri Konsa to play out the rest of the season, you've really got to do it now.
Yeah,
Because we're heading into some tough fixtures. We're playing some very good teams. You don't want to be chopping and changing too much in between games against like Liverpool and Manchester City or whatever it might be. I think now is your best chance really to nail down exactly what you want your side to look like going into the end of the season. So yeah, it's a very interesting call, mate. After the West Ham game, I would have said Conser. But I think I think we all have really seen something quite different in Callum Chambers. So I think it's a very tough decision. Don't envy that one. But I mean, Axel Twanzebe played the last time we played Arsenal. Can you believe that? We
bloody
played
hell.
played a three back.
God.
Played three back. We had plenty of faces involved in that Arsenal game that aren't with us anymore. Twanzebe's obviously gone. Obviously, Matty Target, a left back, he's gone. Dino was the manager.
The gaffer, yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. Yes, it's a very different. Even the bench, obviously, Jed's gone, Ghazi's gone, Cameron Archer's gone on loan. So yeah, it's a very much a sort of fresh face Villa team. I think you can almost rate that like sort of wipe that last performance because it's a completely new Villa. But yeah, that centre half partnership, mate, very difficult to call. I do have a feeling he'll go with Ezri, but as you've made some very good points there, mate. The good thing is, I think we can say pretty unanimously, whoever he chooses, absolutely fine by me.
Yeah, it's not a tough decision to have, but I think there's been a few comments now, Dan, that have raised a fairly good point. If Dougie's out, if you're going to rest Dougie, why not play
Yeah.
Chambers there?
Yes.
I think you
Yeah.
can do that. I think you can do that.
Yeah. I think that it's looking a bit like we need like what do you do there? Like if
Yeah,
Dougie is genuinely out, I think Stevie will do everything within his powers to have him available for this game. As you said, I do think he will start. I can't see Douglas missing out on a game with a bust lip, as painful as that might be.
mm.
Um, I think we will see him in this midfield. I don't necessarily think that. I think I really want to see Chambers in that DM spot. It's hard to say a game for sure in which it's sort of fair to chuck him in for. I think I always used to think that wing back was the most difficult position to play in this modern game, and I've changed my mind. I actually think it's the DM spot. I just think with the
Yeah,
pace of the game, and especially in the Premier League, the general level of technical ability in midfield is pretty frightening. To be able to read the game and everything like that, it's such a difficult position to play. The one thing he has over Douglas Luiz is obviously stature, which is something I do think we've missed in the lack of in the middle of the park.
mm.
So he does have that one up over Dougie. Yeah, you know what? You know what? As I said, I'm really, really pleased with Callum Chambers. Uh, I love the way that he's sort of embedded himself in this Villa team. And I'm really glad to say that if he starts, whatever capacity that might be in, I'm pretty chilled out with him, to be honest with you. I do
Yeah.
trust the guy.
No, 100%. And I think, I mean, the next dilemma, Buendia creates the goal at West Ham.
Yeah.
Coutinho obviously looked great. I don't know. I'd hate to make that call. I can't make that call. I'm not qualified to. We're not qualified to make that call, are we, mate? But it feels. I guess it's a good thing that we can bring a £40 million player off the bench, right? I guess that's a good thing. Like, it's not terrible.
It's a good and a bad thing, isn't it? Because you know what? I do want to see Emi back in the team purely for the reason that it felt really strange to me when he was dropped.
Yeah,
That's the only thing about that day when we obviously went and won that felt wrong. So I was like, why is he? It did feel like he's been our better player in recent months, coming up to that point. Almost getting to sort of first name on the team sheet sort of level, and then he suddenly went out of the team. You know what? We've got to give props to the coaching staff because that Ings and Watkins partnership for the most part has been working a lot better than we saw at the start of the season. But at the same time, do I think that partnership is as effective as a Buendia Coutinho partnership could be? No, I don't. I think genuinely, like as good as Watkins and Ings have been, I think if you get Buendia and Coutinho on the same wavelength, I think it's lights out. I really do.
100%.
Those boys have created more chances than any other Villa players this season. Coutinho's on 4, Buendia's on 5. It's just like, man, if you can get them playing, get them like sort of thinking at the same time. Once you